you need to verify is security group. Okay. So those errors I already generated. Why? Because I know you are going to get that error. Right. So the error is very standard. Putty fatal error. The error is putty fatal error. Okay. So that the problem is one is keyword. You might not converted the PEM to PPK. That might be an error. Okay. So convert it. Otherwise, you do one thing. If you don't know or if you're not sure about the conversion process, just directly download a PPK file and use it. Nothing stops you, right? Okay. So directly download a PPK file, use that along with putty. Second thing, use public IP address, not private IP address. I repeated this multiple times. Third thing, security group. If it is a Linux instance, make sure you open port number 22. If you open 3389, that works only with Windows, not with Linux. Okay, these three are the common mistakes. One is browsing wrong. Second one is browsing wrong IP address. Third one is opening wrong ports at your security group level. Okay. So, yeah. Any other questions? How can I move a directory? You mean you want to copy an entire folder from one location to another location?
Yes,
Mr. Raghuveer?
Yes, Mr. Avinash.
Okay. So you can still use CP command, right? You have given a try?
I don't
You
want
can
to
use
copy
CP
it.
command.
I don't want to copy it. I want to move it.
Then use MV command.
I try to use that MV. What it's saying is, we need to give the destination and the source, right?
Yeah, you know the format, right? If you are
Yeah.
using MV or CP command, you need to give source. So then
And
you need to give destination.
Yes. If I give like that, what happening is the name of the directory get changing.
Okay, so don't give like, okay. So have you Googled it? So you really no need to wait till next session for this. So have you Googled it?
I'm really sorry, Mr. Avinash. I'm not.
Yeah, try to Google it.
Sure.
So yeah. So again, so as I told you, I'm not really going in depth here. Why? Because if I go like in depth, I assume you guys are very new to Linux operating system. First, I want you to make comfortable. Now, I given a course, right? If you want to go subscribe of advanced topics like a user management, the entire OS structure, boot process, all those things, I explained in the given Linux course. So for now, how much we really require to continue this course, I'm talking about that. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Avinash. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So here in today's session, we are going to discuss how we can make this EC2 instance as a web server. How we can make this EC2 instance as a web server and how we can deliver it to everyone or a specific IP address. We'll discuss that. So now let's navigate to EC2. Again, yeah, it's coming now. Okay. So quickly, I'm going to launch an EC2 instance. I'll get connected to it. I'll make it as a web server by installing some commands. Okay. Navigate into instances. Launch instances. I'm in Mumbai region. That is important whenever you're working with EC2. Again, sometimes you may get a doubt. Okay. Sometimes, you assume you might launch an EC2 instance somewhere and you're assuming you forgot about it. So in that scenario, you can use one option here, EC2 Global View. Whenever you click on this EC2 Global View, just below this EC2 dashboard, Okay. If you observe here, it will show all the available regions and how many instances you have in that region, running or stopped instances, you can find it here. You see here? So I don't have any instance in any other region. So if you have any such type of doubts, okay. So you can find it here if you have any such type of doubts. But if you're always sticking to only specific region, so then you can easily monitor it. That is another thing. And third thing, we do have a mobile application. Yes. If you go to App Store or Play Store, okay, we have an application called AWS Console. So AWS Console from App Store. So in App Store, there is an application. You say this is an AWS Console application. You can see how many servers you have, how many alarms you have, what is the cost. So you can go and you can view the services also. Okay, you have this option. And if it is a Play Store also, you have a application. AWS Console is an application. You have it in Play Store. You can see that here. Okay, so you can even use that to track your resources. Okay, however, that's up to you. Right. So now I'm quickly launching an EC2 instance. Launch instance. I'm calling it as web server. So then I'm going with Amazon Linux here. Amazon Linux 2, T2 Micro. Keypair. I'm going with okay. I'm in Northern Virginia. So I should have only 2 key pairs. Right. I'm calling it as a web server. I'm going with Amazon Linux. I'm going with T2 Micro. And I'm going with Linux Keypair. I already have access to it. I did not deleted it. Okay. So now, do you want to create a new security group or you want to use an existing security group? So this is a Linux instance. So we have a Linux security group, the one we created in our previous session. So it is open with port number 22. When I click here, it is showing what port number is open. If you want to see, you can do that here. Click the required security group. Click on compare security group rules. Okay, when you click on this, it will pick the security group you selected. It will show all the open port numbers. So only port number 22 is open for the selected security group. Okay, let's have it. So then I'm going with 8 gigs. Then click on launch instance. All right. So now an EC2 instance is launched. So it's in pending state. Then it will change its status to running state in some time. And one more thing, after terminating an EC2 instance, it won't clear from your screen immediately. It will be there for some time, but it won't cost you. Okay. It won't cost you during that period. You can go and get the logs of that instance if you really want. Okay. So just ignore. So don't worry about that. Okay, I already terminated. Still it is showing in the console. Don't worry about it. It will clear after some time automatically. It will take around 30 minutes. Subnet and all. See, have you deleted any VPC? So if you deleted or if you work on this VPC, then only it will. Otherwise, you see here, it picks automatically. I'm not selecting any subnet so far. So just stick with one region and go with it. Don't work anything on this VPC, guys. Okay, if you edit any settings, what happened? You cannot get connected to that instance. So you'll be into unnecessary issues. We will come to that VPC. Next to this EC2, we will start with VPC module only. So till that time, just go with the default VPC. Right. So I want to get connected to it. First thing, under security, port number 22 is open for everyone. This is a Linux instance. We are good with security group part. So grab your instance public IP address. You guys use putty option. I'm using terminal. Okay. So I'm navigating to desktop and there is a folder called key pairs. All right. SSH-I, my Linux KP, EC2 user @ I'm giving my instance public IP address. Then click on enter. Okay, it's asking, are you sure you want to connect? Yes. Then click on enter. Now you see, we got connected to this EC2 instance. And you observe one thing here. 13 packages needed for security out of 16 available. So the package means updates. The package is nothing but patch here. You know, Microsoft, every month they will release updates. So whenever you are trying to restart, they will ask you to, okay, install updates and all, right? If you say okay for that install updates, how much time it is going to take? 2 hours, sometimes half day also. Okay. So basically we have a specific day for Microsoft updates. You know when it is? Patch Tuesday. We call it as a Microsoft Patch Tuesday. Okay. So basically Microsoft release updates every month, second Tuesday. We call that day as a Patch Tuesday. You observe your Windows machines. After second Tuesday, it won't available immediately. Just after 1 or 2 days, then your device, okay, we have Windows updates. You start install. Okay. So you can find a lot of memes on Windows updates also. You see here? I'm just going to quickly start my computer real quick. Then Windows Update is watching us. Elon Musk is asking, so you guys are almost ready for takeoff. You see here, all systems are Windows updating. So me restart computer because it is lagging. So then Windows Update, I've been looking forward to this. So then whenever you restart, right, it is going to start update. Okay. So we have a specific day. Let's keep that aside. So we have a specific day for Windows, but when coming to Linux, right? So we don't have any such type of specific day. We will get it periodically. Okay. So if you now it is showing 13. So basically AWS is going to update their AMIs periodically. Okay. So these 13 updates you might not see like, after a week or so. Why? Because AWS already applied those patches. So, but now 13 packages available. If I want to update my operating system with latest patches, so then I can run a command called sudo just mupdate. Just give mupdate and it is saying you need to be root to perform this. You need to be root to perform this. 1 second, guys. So it's saying you need to be root to perform this operation. What I need to do now? Either I need to add sudo in front of that, sudo yum update, so then it will update. Okay. So otherwise, switch to root user, sudo space su. Now I'm working as a root user. I need to add sudo. So I personally always prefer to work as a root user. When I get connected to it, first command I'm going to give is sudo space su. So now I want to update. So I'm using a command called yum. Yum stands for yellow dog updater. or Yellow Dog Update Manager. Okay. So before this yum, we used to have a command called RPM, Red Hat Package Manager. So, but this command, right, you need to find all the dependencies, you need to download all the support files. So then only you can run this command. Okay, so that is a bit difficult. So that issue is overcome with this yum command. So if you give yum, then what exactly you want to do? Okay, so then what package you want to install? For example, see in Windows, if you want to install PHP, is it a small task? You need to put some effort. You need to find appropriate .exe file. N number of the websites are there. Some are like, give genuine files. Some are some virus or like, Trojanware or spamware they will give, right? So, but in Linux, we don't have that. We have a concept called repository. Okay, only Amazon main. Here we have Amazon managed repository. Whatever package you want to install, Amazon already verified and they are giving to us. So you don't have any issues like, spammed or spoofed packages here. Okay, so now I want to install a package called STTPD, or I want to install MySQL, or I want to install PHP. Okay, so first thing you need to do is yum install, then the package name. All right. So if you want to make it as an interactive, just click on enter. Non-interactive, just give -y. I'll show you that. So now I want to make it as a web server. I want to make it as a web server. So for that, we have a package called STTPD. It is an Apache package. If you install this, technically you are installing an Apache web server within this EC2 instance. So then you can deliver. Okay. So now I'm going to install the first command. First, I'm working as a root user. That is important. Okay. So yum install STTPD. Then click on enter. You see, it went to a repository called Amazon 2 core repository. This is what it is going to install. These are the dependencies that is going to pick and install. Okay, so now it is waiting for my confirmation. Is this okay? If I give yes, it will continue with installation. If I give D, it downloads to temporary location, it cache. If I give N, it cancels this transaction. It cancels this operation. Okay, now you might get it out. Okay, I'm doing what exactly? I know what exactly I'm installing. Do I really need to go and do this like, do I really need to type Y? So in that scenario, what you can do, yum install STTPD gave -y. If you gave -y, what happened? It won't wait for our confirmation. We are telling to the system, okay, whenever any confirmation is required, pick Y as an option and you do the remaining things. If I gave D, still it do the same thing. If I gave N also, it will do the same thing. So I'm giving yum install STTPD space -y. Okay. Now you see, it is not interactive process. It is not waiting for my confirmation or my entry, my input. Okay, so it picked yes as an option and the installation is completed. Fine, installation happened. But is that service is in running state? Installing a package is not sufficient. We need to make sure that service is up and running. If the service is not up and running, we can't do anything, right? Okay, so how we can verify? If you're using Windows operating system, so you have a command. So that is a Windows key plus R. Whenever you press Windows key plus R, what happened? It will open run. So there, type services.msc. Whenever you type this services.msc, it will show all the services your Windows OS is using. You can find some are in running state, some are in stopped state, some are in delayed started state, some are in disabled state. Okay, so you can find one more option called startup. So whenever you observe the startup, you have an option called enable or disable. So these all things you can find whenever you go to the services.msc. Okay, for example, in your Windows operating system, audio is working, backend one service is running. Time is working, backend one service is running. You are able to open the folders, backend one service is running called explorer.exe. So for every single operation, one service is going to run. Either it is a Windows or Linux. Similar way, now we have installed the package. We have installed the package, but is that service in running state? We have a doubt now, right? So to get a clarify on the doubt, you can run one command called, you can run a command called service. What is the service name? Then status. So if you gave this command, service httpd status, click on enter, you see here the service is inactive or dead. So whenever service is inactive, will it deliver anything? No, right? So how we can test whether it is delivering something and all? You can do one thing. Curl http://localhost. If you gave this, it should return with something. Whenever you are giving this command, if service is up and running, it should return something. But it is not returning, it is saying connection refused. Why? Because the service is not running. What exactly this local host means? Anyone has any answer? What exactly this local host means?
The machine which we are working on currently.
Our local machine.
Our local machine, it points to the same machine. Okay. So the logic is very simple. For example, you are going to give a presentation tomorrow. Okay. To test yourself, what you will do? You will stand in front of a mirror and you are going to test yourself, right? Okay. So that is just testing yourself. So similar way, this EC2 instance, whenever we gave this, it is testing itself. It is standing in front of a mirror. What output it may give to outside world. So that it is trying to find. So in Linux operating system, we don't have a browser. We don't have UI. To see any of the web page, you can use a command called curl. You can use a command called curl. Okay. So it is saying connection refused. Why? Because the server is inactive or dead. Now let's start the service. The command is service httpd in place of status. You can give start. If you want, you can give stop. If you want, you can even restart the service if you are facing any difficulty. Okay. So these are the supported commands. So I'm going to give start. Now service started. How we can confirm? Go and verify status. Now you see it is active and running. Clear. Service is running state. I want to double check it. So give curl http://localhost/. Then click on enter. You see here, now it is not giving any error. It is giving the HTML web page. It is giving that entire HTML web page here. So that means it is working. There is no issue. The web server is up and running. We tested that locally. Now, I want to test it from outside world. It is working locally. Now, come back to the browser, grab your public IP address, go to your browser, give that. I'm repeating this thing. Do not use this open address. Do not. use that open address. If you're using it, it will pick HTTPS protocol that we haven't discussed. We need to apply some certificates. So do not use it. Copy, manually paste it here. Then click on enter. Okay, it's trying to load, and let's wait till it fails. It fails. Okay, what might be the reason? What might be the reason? It is a public IP address. It is a unique one across the globe. So there is no issue with the public IP address. Any guess?
Giving permissions to the public access.
Okay, security group. Security group act as a firewall, right? So this is a web server. So it is using a protocol called HTTP protocol. What is HTTP port number? HTTP port number 22. Seriously?
Okay.
How confidently you said? What is SSH port number then?
80.
HTTP port number is 80. I asked you guys to remember this. I given list of port numbers. HTTP port number is 80. HTTPS port number is 443. Okay. So RDP port number is 3389. SSH port number is 22. Remember these four at least for now. Okay. So this web server is running with HTTP protocol and it is saying error connection timed out. So the connection is not refused by server. Connection is showing as a timed out. That means your connection, your request generated by using this browser is not reaching to the server. In between, it is timing out. It is trying and timed out. The reason, there is a firewall in front of our EC2 instance, right? That firewall is not allowing any traffic on 80 for our EC2 instance. Currently, it is allowing only 22. It is allowing only 22. So if you observe this diagrammatical manner, so this is our EC2 instance. So you made it as a web server. Okay. So this is a firewall and here is an end customer. So this end customer, whenever he is trying to take SSH, he is able to get connected to it. And he is able to, like, on 22 is open on this security group. But now at this security group level, did we open any port number 80? We have opened only 22. Did we opened any other port like a 80? Now this user trying to open the web page delivering from this EC2 instance. Okay, but if the request is coming on port number 80, it came to the security group, but security group don't have that port number open. So what is happening? It is hitting here, it is waiting for response, and error connection timed out. It is not even reaching our EC2 instance. Okay, so now what we need to do? We need to open required port number here to reach the traffic to our EC2 instance. Okay, so go to security group of the EC2 instance. This is a security group. I'm opening security group. Scroll down. Work on inbound rules only. Edit inbound rules. So now add a rule. What traffic we want to allow? HTTP. It picked port number 80 automatically. And now you want to make it available anywhere or only my IP. I'm picking my IP. Let's see what happened. Save rules. Now, if I go here, if I give a refresh, I'm getting this Apache web page. One thing you need to observe here, after modifying security group, did I stop or did I restarted my service or instance? Changes to the security group will take effect immediately. You really no need to wait for some time. It will take effect immediately. Okay. So it is working, but this web page works only in Naresh IT network. I'm pasting this IP address in our chat box. Someone try to access it for me, please. Just try to Click on that link and just tell us whether you are able to get that web page or not. You won't. Why? Because security group is not allowing for everyone. It is allowing to send traffic to only Naresh IT network. Anyone tried?
Yes, sir, not able to open.
Not able to. Thanks for the confirmation.
Yes,
Now, yeah. So now I'm going to edit it. Instead of this only my network, I'm going to make it available for anywhere. Then save rules. You give a refresh on the same page, you will get the web page. Just give a refresh and let us know whether you are able to. Okay. So Krishnamurthy confirmed. He is
Yeah,
able to
able to
access.
access.
Yes, now
Right.
able to access.
Yeah, thanks for the confirmation, guys. Okay, so changes to security group is taking effect immediately. Now, if you are not able to access any web page, you need to verify whether required port number is opened in your security group or not. Your troubleshooting always should start from security group only. This is what I'm mentioning multiple times. Okay, so now, see, this is a test page. I want to create my own page. I want to create my own page by using VIM editor. I want to create a file. So then I want to deliver this. But where I need to create? So there is a path you see here. You may now add content to the directory var www.html. Go to this location, create all your files or copy all your web content that will deliver. Okay. So you know the command, right? How to go to that? I want to go to different directory. What is the command? cd. What path we want to go with? Var www.html. Okay. Given cd space var www.html. How I can confirm whether I'm in the real path?
PWD.
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 I am under var www.html. So that means you are in the right path. If you have doubt, if you have confusion, once you got this test page, you read this. Okay. So now I want to create some files. I'm creating index.html. So I told you one thing, index is going to be default web page. So VIM space index.html, enter. First, what we need to do? Press I to go to insert mode.
Insert.
Now I'm in insert mode. Create a simple HTML file. So you can give any file, okay? I'm going to create very simple one. Opening HTML tag. So then I'm giving a header. If you know HTML, you add title, you add BG color, you add header 1, header 2, body, image, GIFs, whatever you want, you can do that. Okay. So header 1, I'm creating a very simple one. Header 1, this is my custom web page. So then I'm closing the header. Then I'm closing the HTML. This is what the very simple code I'm using. If you want to try out different codes, we have a website called W3 Schools. Depend on that. Paste that code here, you can give a try. Okay. Press escape to come out from insert mode, colon, WQ.
And WQ.
Write and quit. Click on enter. So now the content is created. How we can verify? Yeah. LS.
LS.
It tells whether file created or not. I want to see whether content is really written to that file or not. Cat or more. So I personally use cat. You see, it is written. Now go back to the browser, give a refresh. You see here, it is working. It is working. Okay. Clear so far? Okay, fine. This is working. I want to create another file and I want to deliver another file. So then what I need to do? So this time I'll do one thing. I'll use the W3 Schools. W3 Schools HTML. Go to this. So here a lot of we have guys. For example, HTML colors. So this is a very simple code. So when you click on try it yourself, it even shows you, okay, this is what it is going to pick. Okay. So you go here, right? So this is another simple example. This is what it is picking. Okay. So in similar way, you have lot. Okay. So you pick some code. Okay. I'm going to pick this code. All right. I'm going to create VIM. I'm creating another file called status.html. Press I and I'm pasting that code here. Now, instead of this, this is a blue heading and all, I'm modifying it. Okay. This is my web server, another page. And welcome to AWS demo sessions or AWS sessions, not demo. Right. Press escape, :WQ. If you gave ls, the file created successfully. Fine. But now I want to test it. If I go here, if I give refresh, it is showing only index.html. How I can access that status.html? Next to this IP address, give /status.html. Now click on enter. You see this? So if you have different content, you can give link options and all. But if you have multiple pages, you can give that file name here. But index.html is a default web page. That is what I'm trying to mention here. Okay. So now, okay, fine. This web server configuration is completed. We have made it as a web server and all. It is fine. But now, due to some reasons, you have restarted this instance. Restart or reboot, both same. So I'm going to reboot this instance. We'll see what happens. Okay. See, before rebooting, it is absolutely working fine. No issue. Okay. Now go here and reboot. Now, so one thing you observe, while rebooting, it won't change the status. Don't ask me why. That is AWS behavior. Okay, if AWS take my suggestion, they need to show the status here. Okay, they need to update the status rebooting. Once it is ready, then only they should show status as a running. But if you want to see whether it is really rebooting or not, you can do one thing. Select it, go to actions, monitoring and troubleshoot. Second option is get instant screenshot. When you click on get instant screenshot, you see here, it is restarting. Okay, so that means, okay, so it is trying to stop that HTTP web server. Once that service is stopped, it is going to reboot it. So the restart is happening, but the state it is still showing as a running. But is the service running? Go here, give a refresh. See, this time the error is different. Last time error is timed out, but this time refused. So why it is not giving timed out error? Why? Because security group is not blocking. Security group is sending to our web server, but web server is not able to deliver the content, right? That's the reason. Okay, so the error connection refused. So now, is this reboot completed? Let's verify. This Amazon seriously need to work on it. Okay, the reboot is in process. That's the reason we are not even getting the screenshot. Okay, you see, booting from hard disk. So it will be ready in a minute or two. Okay, it is starting all the services now. Okay, it is ready. So whenever you found this login screen, that means it is ready. You can even give a refresh. You are always going to be on the same screen now. Okay, let's cancel it. Now, go back here, give a refresh. My instance is up and running, but still I'm not able to get the web page. Let's get connected to this. You see here, connection closed. Why? Because you rebooted. Okay, I'm going to get connected to it. SSH-I keeper EC2-user @ public IP address. I got connected to it. Sudo space su here in the screen. So I want to verify the service status. What is the command? Service HTTPD status. Again, it is inactive. So after every reboot, do I need to connect and do I need to start the service? No, right? So we can make this service as a logon service. Okay, we can make this service as a logon service. So for that, you need to execute one more command. The command is chk config httpd on. What this command will do? Okay, basically this command will make the service as a logon service. After reboot also, the service will start automatically. After logon also, service starts automatically. So you manually no need to start. So how we can confirm whether the setting really take an effect or not? You see here what it is now? Disable. Okay. Now chk config httpd on. Fine. Now I am running httpd status. You see now? Earlier it is disabled. But now once we execute this command, chk config httpd on, it become enable. That means after every reboot, service starts automatically. You don't need to perform any additional things. Okay, let's try it again. Service httpd start. Okay, now service httpd status. You see here, it is enable. Now let's go and reboot it. Go back here. Now it is working. Okay, I'm going to reboot it again. Navigate here, reboot instance. I'm rebooting. Okay, I'm just rebooting it. We'll see what happened. After reboot also, the web page come automatically. While reboot is happening, this web page won't available. While reboot is happening, the web page won't available. Okay. Now you see, in between some error came. Again, the service is up and running. So the instance is up and running now. You see here, once reboot completed, the service started automatically. Okay, if you wait for some more time also, so you go here, you observe this get instance screenshot. It is ready now. It is ready. So the reboot operation completed, but the service started automatically. Did we get connected at least? No. Okay. So for that, we have used a command called chk config space httpd space on. Okay. So these are the commands we are going to use to make this EC2 instance as a web server. Okay. So any questions so far for me, guys? We are going to create web servers in our coming sessions. Why? Because like, if I want to show some settings or if I want to show output of a load balancer, I definitely require some web servers. So for that purpose, we discuss this. So any questions so far? So, we took this much time, right? How many commands we learned, Very few. First command, yum install httpd. Second command is service httpd start. Third command is chk config httpd on. Fourth new command, no. Status you can verify. Okay, here instead of start you can give status. You can use start or status. On top of that, so we went to a path where www HTML. Again, we used VIMLiter that we discussed yesterday only. That is not new. CD also we discussed yesterday only. That is also not new. So
Curl.
far, I have explained just 3 commands.
We used curl.
And I took almost 50 minutes to explain that. Okay. So we taken care about security group also.
We used a command called curl.
Yeah. Curl is for testing. Yes. We have used curl also. Curl http://localhost. You can give it. Yeah. We learned curl also. Security group must be open with port 80. So port 80 is for HTTP. Okay. So these are the things.
Sir,
These
when we
commands-
use this HTTP and HTTPS ports, sir, here particularly you selected a HTTP as you selected.
Okay. Whenever you configure a web server, defaultly it delivers with HTTP. You don't need to do any additional things to configure it for HTTP. But HTTP, yes, you need some additional configurations. You need to have a SSL certificate. If you observe this web page here, it is showing not secured. If you click here and it is saying your connection to this site is not secured. Your connection to the site is not secured, and it is saying you should not enter any sensitive information like a credit cards, information or passwords. The reason is whatever data we are sending to this website, so that is not encrypted. In transit encryption, you remember that? In transit encryption is not there. Why? Because we are using HTTP protocol. What happened if you gave HTTP yes and this public IP address? I'm giving HTTP yes protocol and I'm giving this IP address, it won't load. The reason, if you want to use this HTTP yes, you must apply a certificate called SSL, Secure Socket
SSL
Layer,
certificate.
TLS, Transport Layer Security. These certificate must be enabled. So these, right, we are going to discuss in our ACM. There is a service called ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager. There we will discuss it. Till the time, just go with the HTTP. There is a flow for this course. If can't I explain ACM now? If I want to explain ACM, I need to explain Route 53. Okay. So because of the dependency, we are discussing with only HTTP ports now. Let's stick to it for now. We'll come back again and we will open HTTPS. Okay. So that's the reason I'm not asking you to use this. When you click on open address, it will use HTTPS. But we have not applied certificate. So it will give an error. That's the reason I'm not asking you to use this open address option. You see here, it is picking HTTP. Yes, that's the reason. So if you either manually go and remove it, it works. Or use copy paste option. That is the best method. Okay.
Avinash,
Now, yeah, go ahead.
actually index.html for HTML file, instead of editing or writing in the server, can we directly send the file to that?
Of course, we can do that. So, if you have some files in your local laptop, so for example, you already have some web content in your local laptop. Okay. So you want to move that files to server directly. So then we have a tool called WinSCP. We have a tool called WinSCP. So you connect to your EC2 instance by using WinSCP. So then you can perform drag and drop. Okay.
Okay.
I think I don't have it. Okay. So you can install this WinSCP. Again, you need to use public IP address. You need to use EC2-user. Then you need to browse your PPK file. Then you will get connected to that instance. From your local laptop, drag and drop there. That files will come to your EC2 instance automatically. Okay.
Oh.
So we can use WinSCP for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now there is a task. How exactly I have made this EC2 instance as a web server? Similar way, we have another web server also. That web server name is Nginx. Nginx. Both are same. Okay. So that also designed for web server delivery only. How exactly we have Apache. So now take an EC2 instance, install Nginx, and try to deliver a custom web page. That is a task. Okay. So complete all the modules in this Linux survival, or at least complete first two modules. And the task one is pretty straightforward. What exactly I did, I'm asking you guys to do this. Okay. Now, whatever the commands we have given here, can't we automate this? For example, now what we are doing, we are launching the server, we are connecting to it, we are giving all the commands manually one by one. Okay. But we do have an option called user data or bootstrap script. While launching an EC2 instance itself, you can pass the commands and instance is going to execute all the commands. Okay, I'll show that now. See, no new commands. You can launch instance, BSS test web server is the name I'm giving, Amazon Linux, T2 micro. I'm selecting a key pair and I'm selecting an existing security group that must be opened with. Now I'm going to make it as a web server, right? So it must be open with 22 as well as 80. If you want to verify, click on compare security group. You see 22 is there, 80 is there, so we are good. Now scroll down, expand this advanced details. Expand advanced details, scroll down to the almost bottom. Here you see there is an option called user data. Whatever the commands you want to install inside your EC2 instance, give all that commands to you. Okay, what is the first command? Install stdpd. Second command, start the service. See, we know once you install the service is in stopped state only. Do we really need to run status? If you want, you can give it. But again, service, stdpd, if you want to give status, you give it. Then service, stdpd start. Okay. So now I want to make it as a logon service. chk config stdpd on. Okay, fine. I have given all the required command. Again, the status is not really necessary. Okay, but you need to make it as a script. You need to make it as a script. We are just giving commands. So, but you know, once the instance is launched, these all commands are going to execute one by one. But how system is going to detect this? Whenever we are giving /bin/bash. So basically this we call it as a shebang. Shebang /bin/bash. So if you gave this line, now system will detect remaining all as the commands and it will execute. If you don't give this, it won't. If you don't give this, it won't. Okay. So now scroll down, launch instance. What will happen? We are going to get a test page. We'll get a test page, right? But instead of test page, I want to get a custom web page. But we cannot use VM editor here, VIM, index.html. So then how we are going to press I? We cannot give press I in this manner, right? So instead of this, I'm going to use an option called echo. You know what is echo? Whenever you give echo, whatever you type, it will return same. See, you went to some mountains and if you're shouting, what happened? You will get echo, right? You are alone in an empty room. You're shouting, you will get echo, right? Echo. So will it delivers any new thing? No. If it is delivering any new thing, that's a horror movie. Okay, whatever you are shouting, the same thing it is going to return. Okay, so this echo, I'm going to use this echo command to generate a string that I'm going to write it to a file. Okay, so I'm giving echo. This is my web page. Now, if I click on enter, what is the output? This is my web page. If we want to, we can give this double quotes also. That is standard way. Okay, so now you see, this is my web page. So where that output is coming? Immediately in the terminal itself. But I don't want to get the output in the terminal itself. I want to get this output to a file. Okay, so just observe, do I have any file under this key pairs folder with the name called bss.txt? Do I have any file? No. Let's see what happened now. So I'm going to give echo. This is my web server. I'm going to give one greater than symbol, then space. I'm going to call this bss.txt. Now what happens? That greater than symbol basically works as a pipe. Whatever output, it won't send to terminal. It won't display immediately. That output will write to a file called bss.txt. If file is not available, it will create one. If file is not available, it will create one. So now click on enter. Now you see here, bss.txt file is now created. If I open, you see this? This is my web page. There is a typo, ignore it. Okay. Now, so we have an option. We can give one greater than symbol or two greater than symbols. If you are giving two, it will add content to existing information. If you are giving one, it override everything. Let's show you that. So I'm giving, this is web page 1. I'm giving two greater than symbols. I'm executing same and I'm writing web page 2, web page 3. So all these outputs are sending to one file. Let's see how that file looks like now. If I open this bss.txt, you see here, web page 1, web page 2, web page 3. It is not overriding. It is adding to the existing content. Why? Because we are giving two greater than symbols. Now, let's observe what happened if we gave one greater than symbol. I'm giving web page 4. Then click on enter. Go back here. Open this. You see, all the existing ones are gone. Only latest one. So whether you are using one greater than symbol or two greater than symbols, doesn't matter. Okay. Now tell me what happened. If I gave this echo, header 1, this is my BSS web page. Then I'm closing the header. I'm giving one greater than symbol or two greater than symbols, where www.html index.html. Now what happened with this command? It will pick this string. Yes. It will create a file called index.html in this location, and this file is written with this content. Correct? Yes. I'm going to give this line as part of Bootstrap script. Okay. Now you see, first command is to treat this as a script. Okay. So then we are yum install stdpd-y. So then service stdpd start. Then chk config stdpd on. So then we are delivering. So if you don't give last line, still you will get a test page. Okay. Now let's go and launch instance. I've launched an EC2 instance. Let's see whether that web page delivers or not. I'm not even going to get connected to it. I'm not even going to get connected to it. If our script is correct, it should deliver a web page. It's still in pending state. Okay, it's in running state now. Let's grab the instance public IP address. Let's wait for a second. You see here, I got the web page. Did I get connected to this instance at least? No, right? But I am able to get the web page. How? Because of user data. I have passed my user data to this EC2 instance. Those commands all executed successfully and we got the output. Okay. I'm going to share that user data in our document. If you want, you guys also give a try. So whatever option you are using doesn't matter in our coming sessions. Whether you are delivering a web page or not, that is important for me. Okay, here. This is a user data script. Okay. All right. So that is one option. And one last option before closing today's session. So now we have an EC2 instance, right? So we have this EC2 instance. Whatever the instance we have here, we have a public IP address. Now, okay, just observe what happened if we perform stop and start to that public IP address. So this is what my current public IP address. So my current public IP address is present public IP address is this. Now I'm going to stop the instance. Navigate it here, stop instance, click on stop. The instance is stopping. Still stopping. So basically, whenever we perform stop and start EC2 instance, so the public IP address will change. Yes, private IP address is going to be fixed, but public IP address is going to be changed. Okay, the reason is AWS move our instance from one server, one physical server to another server automatically. Okay, whatever the IP address is reserved for that hardware, it will. So it will pick one from that and it is going to deliver. But can't we have a fixed public IP address for our server? Yes, we can. So what is the problem if public IP address is changing? For example, you install this web server, you have taken this EC2 instance and you have made this as a web server. You have given this IP address to some of the users, some of the developers. What they're doing, they are using this IP address, they are accessing, everything is working fine. But due to some reasons, you have stopped this EC2 instance and you have started again. You have some maintenance activities. Okay, you did that maintenance activities. So then you have started the instance again. And after the start, you have AWS console access, so you know new public IP address. But all your existing users are complaining that they are not able to get connected to the server. They're complaining they're not able to get connected, they are not able to work on the server. The reason? You perform stop and start, public IP address changed. As public IP address change, they are not able to get connected to it. Fine, okay. If it is only one time, what you did, you have taken public IP address, you have given for the developers, you wrote an email. But again, you perform one more stop and start. Again, are you going to do that? If you perform this stop and start 100 times, 100 times you are going to get a new public IP address. Okay. So, to not get a new public IP address always, we can depend on an option called elastic IP address. EIP. Elastic IP address don't comes under free tier eligibility. I'm going to demonstrate here. Keep the concept in mind. Okay. If you generate one, you will get charged. It won't comes under free tier eligibility. I'm repeating it. Elastic IP address free tier eligibility lo raadu. Okay. So now let's go and generate one and allocate now. So you see here this instance is in stopped state. You see this public IP address. It is no public IP address. It is empty. Now if I go here, start instance. Okay, it is in pending state, then it is going to start in some time. Okay, we got a new public IP address you see here. Is it same as the previous one? You see, it's a different one. Again, if you perform stop and start, you will get a new public IP address. So, I really don't want to get that. I really don't want to get a new public IP address always. So now, for that, navigate to elastic IP address. Navigate to elastic IP address. Allocate elastic IP address. Amazon pool of IPv4 addresses. Then click on allocate. Now, AWS given a public IP address for us. We haven't associated to any instance, but you can associate to any instance in this region. Now, select it, actions, associate elastic IP address. I want to associate to an EC2 instance. Click on the instance, select the instance you have, then click on associate. Now, this is a new IP address for our EC2 instance. Okay, so where is that? New EIP for our instance is this. Okay, let's go back to instances screen and give a refresh. You see here, this is a new IP address, right? Let's do stop and start. Go here. I'm stopping the instance. Earlier, whenever we stopped instance, what happened? Public IP address is empty. That field become empty. But now we'll see what happens. It won't become empty. That public IP address still associated to our EC2 instance. So for generating, so how many hours you are going to use that elastic IP address? For those many hours, you are going to get charged. If you use one elastic IP address for an entire month, you will get charged $3.5. Okay. So unnecessarily, don't create and don't pay for that. But this is important when coming to your interview. Okay, you can expect a question in interview on this option. Now instance is stopped, but still, you see, instance state is stopped, but still public IP address is there. Okay, so now if you start, no, stay in public IP address. If you perform stop and start 100 times also, the public IP address is going to be same. How we can verify whether this elastic IP address or normal IP address? Go to networking option. Select instance. Go to networking. Scroll down. You see here, elastic IP addresses 1. So this is the elastic IP address associated. So it's a fixed IP address. Okay. So that is a concept. So if you don't want to get a new public IP address always, you depend on this. However, I'll tell you one more thing. In real environments, we don't associate public IP addresses. We always try to secure our resources. We don't make our resources internet facing. So most of the times we work with private IP addresses only. So, yeah. So but sometimes we may require some fixed IP addresses for some servers. In that scenario, in very rare scenarios, we use this. But you need to know the option and the concept. Okay. So elastic IP address, EIP or elastic IP address is a fixed IP address for our EC2 instances. Generally, if we perform stop and start operation on our EC2 instances, we will get a new public IP address. Okay, we will get a new public IP address. If you don't want to get a new public IP for every stop or start, we can generate an elastic IP address and associate it to EC2 instance. It will be fixed until you manually release. Okay, so that is a elastic IP address concept, and I'm writing it in capital letters. No pre-tier eligibility. So if you're still creating, that's your problem. Okay. Right. So in our next session, we will discuss about volumes, guys. Again, we are going to edit some files. So we are going to use VM editor and we will roam here and there. So you need to get familiar with CD command, VIM command. Okay. And a couple of more commands we are going to discuss. So spare some time, get familiar with all the commands we have discussed yesterday, today. Okay. So then by one more session, by tomorrow, we are going to done with OS level operations, Linux. Then again, we'll come back to EC2 options and we will continue. Okay. So I hope you guys already registered the Linux course. If you haven't registered, the coupon is still valid. I already posted that in our Slack group. Here it is. Register. Okay. I'm going to upload that file to our GitHub and I'm going to terminate my instance and I'm going to release that elastic IP address also. Most of the times I forgot. First disassociate, so then you need to release it. Okay, October 2022. Any questions before closing the session, guys?
Hi, Avinash.
Yes, please.
Avinash, I'm facing glitch in URL now. 2 days on.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
I think Avinash, we are not able to hear you.